Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to try to be too negative this video, but I just finally kind of hit it, just hammer on the head, just realize, when things come together and you realize why people act the way they act in and certain synchronicities and consistencies, it just makes so much sense. So first of all, Pittsburgh, suck a dick, bro. Like literally, bro. Fuck gang stalking. Fuck, whatever title they want to label us. Pittsburgh is the type of city where niggas just love to talk about other people. It's a city of slander and gossip, And it's just the few things that I deal with to reassure that thinking, of that conclusion. Reassuring that conclusion is when today's like this. For whatever reason, just feel talkative, bro. I'm just nice. Maybe it's because I got off the phone with a very good friend of mine, and we were laughing, joking all morning. We're from the time like 6 a.m. all the way to goddamn like now, whatever time it is now, 8:20. I'll say it's 8:27 now, but I say like I got off the phone at like 8:15, 8:16, something like that, and I stopped to talk to a couple of other people who were just in my path, and I don't know, today was the day of talking, and as soon as I get off the elevator after talking to this gentleman, Pittsburgh is the kings and queens of subliminals and indirect conversations. Oh, he's finally talking today, a dude I've never met a day in my life, but I just decided to talk to, get out the elevator, we're just finally talking to people. Like, okay, Pittsburgh, let me get something straight. Let me just talk to the perps that's on this YouTube channel, the ones who harass me throughout the community. You may not know the full extent of my behavior, but I am in your little hive-minded, small-minded community where everybody know everybody and everybody's talking shit about everybody. But what I'm going through is something made by the government, something made by Freemasons and Luciferians and Wiccans that control your community that you don't know about because you think the government's nice, you think the government tells you truth, and you think they're righteous beings. Out of 300,000 people in Pittsburgh, I'm the worst one. That's the story that you believe in. But something you need to realize is that not everybody is not just celebrities and politicians and, higher ups, people that are sacrificing and selling out. In actual fact, to tell you the truth, a lot of people in your community is sacrificing family members and people within your community. Not everybody takes the route to be famous and rich. Most people just take the route to being rich, So if you know that politicians and celebrities and people sacrifice people to get their fame, do you not think this is the reason why you got kidnappings, disappearings, murders, nobody know what happened, Like, I really thank God and I really thank the experience of getting harassed. Because it really shows you why the world, it is what it is. A lot more people are being sacrificed than this world would admit. Look at that, you hear those outside of the door. I'm on the 13th floor and you're already getting Noise Street Theater outside the window on the 13th floor. So let me just go ahead and my internet box is right there, almost forgot. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and block out street theater sounds, it's just amusing to me why I speak so adamantly about my harassment. The one thing that you can't deny, even other TIs, is the synchronicities. You hit the corner, the same people hit the corner, same cars, same vehicles, car horns, slam doors, coughing, subliminals. It's just amusing how it all happens when you hit the vicinity. And remember, these are the same people calling you crazy. The same people participating in your harassment every day, slandering your name, calling you the rapist, the crazy, the weirdo, the everything that they are, and the things that are running rampant throughout the community, Everything that they are is what they try to portray you to be. Why do you think TIs, however you are, everyone's targeting is different, but real TIs know, why do you think you always got people doing the same thing you usually do, that they watch you do? You got another thing coming if you don't think the government didn't perfect MK Ultra tactics, didn't perfect and prying and poking at the mind and turning people crazy. You want to know how people go crazy? This program. It's simple. I made a couple of videos I was going to upload, but I changed my mind because I was a little emotional. Believe it or not, your big emotionless zombie, was crying. But I just thought about it. It's like, it's good to let other people know I have that emotional connection still. This program didn't totally beat the shit out of me, but you can't give the devils, these people who's controlling your whole reality, I guess we could just call it like that, you can't give them the satisfaction that they're hurting you. At the end of the day, you just need to swallow a hard pill, especially for the TIs. I've been in the same city for years, and you notice your harassment out of this world. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. Every single person you walk past, you interact with, they're just going to have this stupid face about them, this certain reaction where they're letting you know that this city doesn't fuck with you. And like today, some days I just, I talked to someone good. I had positive energy, a good friend. I just had a day where I was talking to random people for whatever reason, right? Because they talked to me first, but I was still talking, And y'all need to understand that. Fuck your gossip, fuck your slanderers. My character, and I know it's kind of wrong because you shouldn't let people control how you act as a person, but experiencing harassment through a whole community, it kind of makes me not want to talk to nobody, especially when you get to the point where everyone who lives around you is, let's just say it simple, agents meant to fuck with you and listen to everything you say and torture you and blah, 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 blah bullshit, My reaction to being targeted by a whole community for the past 5 years in the city of Pittsburgh, the state of Pennsylvania, is kind of fuck humans, bro. Fuck people. Fuck this population. And I know deep in my soul, if I was ever to leave Pittsburgh, I'll go back to talking to people. Don't get me wrong. I'm an introvert at heart. Best believe it. But people who I find, cool, females I find attractive, I go out my way and talk. But how my living conditions and how I kind of been treating, myself lately, that's not at my list of to-do things. It's kind of been a slow process, especially realizing that God is the way, and I'm still a little hard-headed, and I still want to do things I want to do, but I'm learning I got to make adjustments. And I can't totally be an asshole to people, but it's a slow process to things, Even me talking, and I'm hearing all type of bullshit, but I just don't care, bro. It's just, my purpose when making these videos is helping out other people who's experiencing the same things. You're not losing your mind. You're not crazy. You're not off your rocker. No, you're just in an environment where the city is dead and anybody will do anything for $1. They're all bums. They can't work a real job. That's why they got to work 24/7 harassing your ass. And for the Pittsburghers who just know, this guy's the weird guy. I'm sorry that these Freemasons, these Luciferians don't tell you how, whether I'm in the house, they got people around me harassing me, whether I'm at the workplace, they got people doing the same thing harassing me, And I tell this to TIs all the time. The suckiest thing about dealing with harassment is controlled environment. No matter where you do, how you do it, where you do it, especially if you have a schedule to do certain things, if they know you're inside the house at a certain time, they know you're going to be here at a certain time, they put what I like to call TIs in a controlled environment. So thus, every time I wake up, I hear the same things. I got people slamming the doors, yelling, screaming, sliding shit at the table. I go to the job, people doing the same synchronicities in the same spot, doing the same shit, acting belligerent, acting like a fool, because I know this program is deep. You got to remember, TIs, you got to remember the suckiest thing about this program is it's groups. You got the people who's on your case, managing you. You would want to call these people your handlers. You know, your people around you 24/7, making sure you're miserable as fuck. And you got the flying monkeys. You got the people who just heard, hey, this is a bad guy. You should treat him like a bad guy. And then you got the people who's paid to do it. And then you got the people who are forced to do it. If they don't do it, they experience the same thing we experience. You know, so at the end of the day, the government has the community by its balls, bro. And they can't wake up one day and be like, you know what? I don't want to stalk this dude. I don't want to harass that dude. Because you know what that happens? They either deal with the same thing or their benefits, their free housing, free vehicles, free money goes bye-bye. Because these are, if you really want to be real, bro, they torture us and they harass us by society's most hated, bro. So now you see how rapists and registered sex offenders is participating in your harassment, booty bandits and shit, constantly synchronizing with you because they can't get a fucking job in society without the real community finding out they're actually guilty of crimes instead of with TIs. He's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. No, these people actually have criminal records. These people actually is a threat to human life, bro. These people are actually a threat to children, to your dog. Like, you know, I even hear TIs talk about like how if they have animals, their animals will start shaking or whatever, or you know, they'll come home and they're abused or they look like they've been hit. Like, you need to understand, bro. We're dealing with real evil people. Whatever they're saying about TIs, it's nothing compared to the people participating in your harassment. Some of these people, I firmly believe, is bona fide serial killers. You know, that's even where I live, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, literally, someone didn't move next door to me in 8 months. And when someone finally did, he's quiet as a rat. You know, and every time I see this dude, he got the same looking down at the ground, waving at me, just looking weird. I'll give examples about that in my next video, but it's just weird shit, bro. You know, I find it funny, you know, how we're supposedly the crazy dudes and the crazy guys, and yeah, a bit lazy, you know. Sometimes I could be a bit dirty, you know. But you know, I come to terms to what I'm actually dealing with. And at the end of the day, it's very evil. It's very simple too. You know, like I said in the beginning of the video, is they just want you to understand the whole city don't fuck with you. Don't matters. No such thing as being in a relationship. No such thing as having friends. You know, so once again, for the flying monkeys, for the people who don't really know, and you just look at how I am now, understand my targeting is calculated. It's very calculated. You know, so yeah, I'm not saying there's people out here who really ain't crazy, seeing shit, you know, real schizophrenics, you know. It's a thing, you know, it's a sad case, but it's a thing. But also my spiritual side of my mind knows that that's actually a gift. But this is a topic for another day. What y'all need to know, though, is that there's perfectly sane people out here experiencing what a schizophrenic would supposedly experience. How everybody worrying about you and watching you, blah, 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 blah. I know the stories. You know, chef the handlers, I don't want to hear your bullshit. There go the drugs getting to your mind. You know, for my TIs, bro. Isn't it always funny, especially if you're a TI that started to make content? Isn't it funny in your beginning of your torture, you always see the chef the handler on your page. Oh, that's just heavy drugs. Oh, man. Only drug I ever took in my life is marijuana. And I don't care. I smoke so much different fucking weed strands that I've never seen something with my eyes, bro. I had fucking thousands of blunts I done smoked. You know? But what's funny, you know, they want to call you druggies and all that, but they, once again, going back to how they put us in controlled environments, everybody around you, crackheads, fucking meth heads, all just like, yo, bro. You know, I feel like the program, these people know spiritually who we are. They know we're empaths. And, you know, sometimes empaths, you know, if you ever feel, you know, and especially if you know you're not a type of person to have emotions flip. Like if you walk outside, you don't have anxiety. You're not fearful of people. You just don't want to fuck with nobody. You know, but you get certain bursts of different feelings. Understand, you're just an empath. You're picking up on your environment. You're seeing how other people around you feel. And I feel like these people know that. So T.I. that's dealing with this is why you got just like literally everything they're projecting you, the indirects, the subliminals is the people they have around you. Sex offenders, booty bandits, you know, criminal records, people who don't work. People who don't do nothing, you know, who literally sit in a room all day and monitor somebody for when they in the house, they leave, they come in, bro. Like, come on, bro. These people are real pieces of shit. That's why this program sucks. Because once again, for like the 50,000th time, controlled environment. People just know the small shit. Oh, that's a bad guy. I should stay away from him. But the controlled environment, the people they keep around you 24/7, you know? And people who don't really know, just watch me. Just watch me, watch the people around me. I think I made a video in the past talking about that. I will pay somebody though, just follow me around the community, bro. And just watch people's reactions when it comes to dealing with me. Look at the eyes of the people who's walking past. Like, it's sick, bro. You know, it sucks, T.I. You just got to develop a mindset where it's like, you just really can't give a shit about nobody, but you got to be careful. Because with me is I kind of stopped caring about a lot of shit, you know, because I saw how bad it was, you know. I just needed to nut up, you know, fix myself, pay off this back rent I got, and get the fuck out of Pittsburgh. But I just been bullshitting, you know. I've been, you know, honestly, depression, you know, been getting down, you know, because despite what you say, what you do, the same thing increases, it decreases, it changes up different tactics, you know, it just doesn't stop, you know. That's the sad thing about it. It is what it is. So when you realize, you know, you literally got the government attacking you, what are you going to do? You want to do what the fuck you want to do every day? Or are you going to let these fucking punk ass motherfuckers have you wake up every day miserable as fuck? Because they just keep harassing you. They don't stop. And especially if you're a T.I. that make content and talk about the shit that they do. It's like, you got to think about it, for the T.I.s who make content, it's like a slap in the face. Oh, you think you're going to talk? You think you're going to get online and talk about what the fuck we doing? All right, increase it by tenfold. You know, so for the T.I.s who make content and you know, understand, it's a slap in the face when you're talking shit about these assholes and at the same time they still harass you every day. Understand, they're fucking bitches, bro. They think they're intelligent people, but they're just really sadistic and evil as fuck. Remember, when it comes to this program, it's just an excuse to act out their most wicked thoughts, bro. You know, you're the monster, but yet look at the monstrous shit that they're doing. Look at the T.I. Mind his own business, go to work, go home, rinse and repeat, make his money, handle his business, and look at the people who wake up every single day to bother you. That should let you know who the real crazy people are. Literally, will sit in the crib all day for a job to monitor you. Understand how sick these people are, you know? Anything, like these are the type of motherfuckers, these niggas will kill you for a dime bag of weed, bro. That's the type of people you got harass you. Anything for $1. You know, so once again, don't let these people bother you, bro. Don't let your emotions go on a fritz. Fuck these people. They don't control shit. But that's one thing they do have control over, is the people all around you. So on that note, this is Bahamut. Stay up and stay high vibrational and enjoy your day. Goodbye.